Guys, I need to tell you about this game. Oh my god. I cannot believe I ran into this game, and I'm so glad that I was able to find a game of this high caliber. In my opinion, I would nominate this game Game of the Year because this may be a small indie game, but compared to like Elden Ring, this game is destroyed. But for a smaller indie game like this, I would definitely give it some props. But honestly, that's what I'm going to do for today's review. I kind of did a couple bad reviews in terms of like reviewing Vanguard and explaining how horrible that game is, and it still is a travesty. But Wargroove, oh my god, this definitely scrubs that horrible Vanguard taste out of my mouth. So, I'm just gonna let you guys know, is Wargroove worth it in 2022? And is it really that great of an indie game that it's so high up there? Well, I'm gonna tell you exactly if it is worth it or not in this Wargroove review, because buckle up! This is gonna be a bit of a juicy, but a big review for me, so let's get into it. Wargroove is a turn-based RPG strategy-based war game where you take control as one of the commanders and you lead their army into battle, and each commander has their own unique play style because each commander has their own ability which gives a turning point on the battlefield if played properly. And there are two ways of winning this game. You can either defeat the enemy commander or destroy the enemy stronghold and win the game. Now, of course, there is fun little modes like arcade mode and challenging puzzle modes, and of course, there is a story. And the story is actually pretty decent if you try to get into it. And the whole concept is there's this vampire, Sigrid, who started a war by killing the king of Cherrystone, Mercia's father, one night during a dark, stormy, rainy night. And all of a sudden, it's Sigrid's mission to unleash havoc and chaos to the world by defeating Mercia's father, the king of Cherrystone, is just one of her steps of unleashing total chaos. And it's Mercia's job to make sure that that does not happen. And she gathers all of her allies from Cherrystone and everyone she meets along the way. Okay? And it's your duty to stop Sigrid. I will say, the story at times can be a bit dull and rather kind of stale at key crucial moments throughout the game. So I figured I'd get the basic stuff out of the way before I get into the fun stuff, which is what I'm going to talk about right now. Because I feel like the creativity is what makes Wargroove a fantastic game. So, if you don't like the campaign that the developers provided to us, that's okay, because here's the fun part. You can make your own custom campaign in this game! You can also make your own custom multiplayer maps. I mean, if you don't like what the developers have, everything that the developers showed us and used in their campaign, they gave us the tools so we can make our own campaign. This is mind-blowing, even still in 2022. Well done, Chucklefish Studios.
I'm just surprised. Like, this game's so good. Like, I like how you can make your own campaign because what the developers shown us in their campaign, if you played it for a handful of time or if you already beat it, like what the developers showed us in their campaigns, whatever we saw, we can create our own. So the one thing I like so much is like how much depth there is. Like, if I just want to make a branching path here, like I can just put down a node that branches off in this area and I can make it like a little side quest here. And if I want it to be part of my campaign, I can connect the dots showing, okay, which path do I want to go for a side quest and what path do I want to go for like the main story. Like, there's just so much, and each of these nodes you can literally make your own map. Like, if I go into here, for example, if I go here, and hit square, like you can literally make your own map with all the tools that you have, whether it's units, environment, buildings, even puzzle pieces. And you can do this for like every single thing. Like if you really want to get creative, like I love it, because right now I already have a campaign made on my Nintendo Switch, and I'm just trying to port, I don't want to say port it, but I'm trying to recreate that onto my PlayStation as like a final draft. Well, I have the draft on my Switch, but I'm recreating it on my PlayStation as the final product. Even though it takes forever, depending on how long you want it to be. But dude, I'm just so into this.
Now, of course, you can also do the same thing of, instead of making your own campaign, you can also make your own multiplayer maps. Whether you can share your creations online with other people from around the world, or you can play them offline with local versus or local co-op. You can also work together with your friends to go up against a bot in your custom map you made, or you can go head to head with your friends in local versus to see which army will prevail. And there's just so much depth and so much variety in this game. And that's not all. For like all the little things they have in there, you as you play the game, arcade mode and the story, you get to unlock awesome little unlocks. I'm not sure. I'm just so baffled and surprised. Like, there's so much fun stuff. This is what makes a good game a good game. Instead of paying BS microtransaction money, you actually unlock stuff. Play to earn. This is play to earn stuff at its finest. As you play the campaign, or as you play arcade mode, you get to unlock additional lore or additional soundtracks for each character or for each faction. For example, if you beat Arcade Run once with Mercia, you get to unlock additional lore, and you get to unlock her unique soundtrack, or her own unique music theme, I guess is the best way to put it. And each character has their own unique theme. It's awesome, and I love it! And there's 3 commanders for each faction. We have Mercia, Emmerich, and Chassir, part of the Cherrystone faction. We got Vulder, Ragna, Sigrid, part of the Undead faction that leads the Skeleton Army. And then we got Greenfinger, Nuru, and Sedge. Greenfinger leads the Florin tribe, and Nuru and Sedge are the hunters for the Florin tribe. And then we got like the Chinese kind of faction, Tenrei, Ryota, and the young mechanical engineer Koji, part of this like little Chinese kind of faction. And then we got the outlaw Irish faction, Wolfer and his kids, Orla and Errol. I hope I said that right. I apologize if I said that wrong. And then we got the most notorious villain, Vesper herself. And there's even more to this. As you scroll through the codex, it actually has even more in depth of all the units in the game. It tells you exactly how each unit plays and how you land critical hits. For example, if you have a bunch of soldiers lined up next to your commander, you will deal critical damage. If you have pikemen right next to each other on the battlefield, you will land critical hits. And each terrain provides a defense bonus or a disadvantage depending on where you position your units. And the lore for all these characters, I love it. The unit explanation on how to land critical hits and how each unit is supposed to play, I love it. And there's even a rule tab on how the game is supposed to be played for new players to to the RPG turn-based strategy franchise. This is fantastic! It's like they actually took their time and they actually wanted to cater towards a newer audience and a hardcore audience without ruining that good immersion. I love it! You can even earn artwork in the art gallery by just playing arcade mode and playing the story mode, and you get to unlock the concept art that developers made. Like, what? Like, all this stuff is like what we would see back in the old days. This is amazing! Even tiny things like little art gallery concept art that the developers were putting behind for like design ideas, we get to see them. And there's so much. There's like 92 concept art pieces to unlock by just playing the story, playing arcade mode, earning stars in arcade and the story mode. It's fantastic. And here's the thing that blows my mind. Literally out of the park. It has bloody crossplay! What? I am not joking. This game has crossplay, so you can play with other people from Xbox, Nintendo Switch, PC. Like, this one I did not see out of left field. It's like they slapped it in there as a little surprise. Like, this is fantastic! Now, I will be honest, I have not tried the crossplay just yet, but I am dying to give it a try! And with all these things in mind, what the developers have given us, this is pure stuff at its finest. This is what I love to see in our video games. No bullshit pay to win microtransactions, none of that stuff. Play to earn stuff right here. Thank you, Chucklefish, for making such a fantastic game. And you can even earn soundtracks for the game. I am not joking. You can earn soundtracks by just playing the game, whether it's arcade or story mode. But you mostly unlock the soundtracks through the arcade mode if you really want to go for that completionist route. Now, to be completely honest, I would never thought that a smaller game studio like Chucklefish would do something of this scale for an indie game. Now, I want to say, before I give the final score, I do want to address one thing. When you beat the campaign, you do get to unlock 2 additional characters. You get one character for being the base game, Princess Elodie, and then if you want to go for the secret ending, you have to get 100 stars by beating levels that you were missing stars in, or play more of arcade mode, or maybe play puzzle mode. And once you get the secret ending, you get to unlock Dark Mercia. And if you get this game without all the DLC and stuff, and there was only one DLC pack, I will say, if you get this game, it will have a base 12 commanders. We got Mercia, Emmerich, Chassir, Valder, Ragna, Sigrid. We got Greenfinger, Nuru, Sedge, Tenrei, Ryota, Koji, 12 base commanders. We have 4 factions, 12 commanders total, and if you include the Double Trouble DLC, which is free, I'm serious, it's for free, and it was so generous of Chucklefish, they could have charged us like $1 for the Double Trouble pack, but it's for free, because it was just a generous thing. Well done, Chucklefish. I wouldn't mind spending like $1 or $2 for the Double Trouble pack, but they did something generous, and I thank them for it. If you get the Double Trouble pack with 3 additional commanders, Wolfer, his children Errol and Orla, and you get Vesper, and if you beat the campaign and get the secret ending, you get 2 additional characters. So you'll have a total of 17 total commanders to play from. if you beat the campaign and if you get the Double Trouble pack for free. But with all the content that Chucklefish crammed into this little game, it's a giant sandbox dream come true. And this is finally a game, even in 2022, it's still worth it. And this game was released back in February of 2019. This game is worth every penny. And that's why, for me, the final score for Wargroove is a 10 out of 10. And it earns the title of Great Games, and it's my first game ever to earn my legendary good title of the GOAT, the greatest of all time, or in this case, the greatest game of all time. With the amount of content that you have in this game, there is so much to do. You can literally make anything. You can make your own custom campaign, you can make your own multiplayer maps, co-op maps, you can make your own puzzle maps. Pretty much, this is a game that you can play to your heart's content. And that's supposed to be a Pokemon reference, but no, this game is the prime example of creating to your heart's content. And I am still experimenting with a lot of this stuff. And if you ask me, $20 in 2022 for a game like this, it's not really that much. I would encourage anyone who is a fan of turn-based strategy RPGs to give this game a try, because I think there's something in here that might interest you. And for me personally, for someone who played Age of Empires and Halo Wars, I am so into this game. I cannot wait to continue playing this game for decades down the line, because this is a masterpiece at its finest. So, until next time, you guys, I'll see you all in the next episode. Let's go to battle, Wargroove!